Yes. So,
Thank you.
greetings again, everyone. I'm Dr. Chakuri. I'm posted at Saj Hospital, and I have been convened today to give a talk on healthier habits. And also, I was a past participant of the NLE, and I had a very good experience. And I wish all of you good luck. Next slide. Next, please. Okay, so I will start first with the definition of health. So, the WHO definition of health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the lack of infirmity. Means it doesn't mean that if you don't have any disease, that you're healthy. You should have a complete physical, mental, and social well being. And I will be elaborating on how to have a holistic health in my subsequent slide. So, healthier habits, what does it encompass? First, a very obvious balanced diet. Second is exercise. Then you have emotional and mental health, which is very, very important nowadays because we have so many scourges nowadays which are cropping up. And stress management is very important nowadays. Everyone have a hectic schedule, so stress and time management is very important. And lastly, I will be talking on substance abuse. Next. I'm assuming that everyone must have seen this food pyramid somewhere, and it is very obvious from the pyramid. A balanced diet, you all know, it comprises of one portion from each different components, like you must have protein, carbohydrate, fats, and vitamins. This food pyramid gives you an idea of the different portions that you should have on your plate. So you can see the base of the pyramid is the largest part, and this one is the portion for carbohydrates, means your bread, rice, cereals. Then the second one is it comprises of fruits and veggies. This is your vitamins and mineral parts. And then the third one going up is protein, which has your poultry, milk, fish, meat, and everything. And the last one, the apex, is your favorite. It is your snacks and fat. But most of the time, what happens is the carbohydrates, you consume it in the appropriate amount, but you tend to swap the second for the third, means you consume meat, dairy products, and everything more than vitamins. And snacks is the what you should consume the least, snacks and fats. This gives you an idea that you should consume it the least, but that what's happened. What you do is you reverse the pyramid, and then you end up with junk food. Okay, next. Next, please. Okay, so a brief description of what each part of the pyramid brings you. Carbohydrates are there to provide energy, and it is found in bread, potatoes, and pasta. Proteins are important to help repair and build your tissues, and it is found in fish, meat, pulses, nuts, eggs, and cheese. Fat also is very important. It helps store energy and support cell function. It is found in foods like butter, cheese, nuts, and oily fish. Fiber also is very important. It aids your digestion, and it is found in fruits and vegetables. Vitamins and minerals are essential for your bodily functions, and it is found in a variety of foods, which includes water and beverages also, but not carbonated ones. Next. Now, this one is very important, the hidden carbs. As a doctor, I often see patients with non communicable diseases, those who have diabetes. And when I see their results, they always tell me, Docteur, abe mo pa pe boire disik, mo pa me disik dans me dité. But what happens is there are so many hidden carbohydrates, hidden sugars. So you can see in the picture one can of Coke. Did you know how many teaspoons of sugar it contains? Now you can see it has 10 teaspoons of sugar, but you don't see the sugar. When you're next time you're consuming a can of Coke, now you know how much sugar you're actually taking. Even energy drinks contain so many hidden sugars. Yogurt, especially the flavored ones, cereals, you have honey, pasta sauce, porridge, even those bars, which are cereal bars, they contain hidden sugars. And even your ketchup also. Ketchup, you might think it's something you're having some teaspoon of ketchup, but it has sugars. Okay, so these are the things that you should know whenever you are trying to have a healthy diet. You should know which things have hidden carbohydrates also. Okay, next. Now I will be talking about eating disorders. Eating disorders, most of the time when you talk about balanced diet, you tend to think that only obesity is concerned. But eating disorders has two spectrum. Either you're consuming too much or you're consuming too little. And among the consuming too little, you have two very important disorders, which is anorexia and bulimia. These people, what they do, they will eat and then they will induce vomiting to throw up the food. Why? Because they want to fit within certain body criteria. They want to be slim and trim. They want to follow certain trends. That's why they will do these things. But it has its complications, okay? Because you can't just you will lose all your nutrients when you are inducing vomiting. And on the other spectrum, you have binge eating, picky eating, junk food. These will lead to obesity. So these two spectrum, you should know how to balance it, and you will have a proper nutrition. And as you can see on the picture, there are so many aspects which will affect your eating disorders. You can see everything is very interconnected. Anxiety, depression, low self esteem, all these will cause a certain eating disorder. And we will be talking about that later. And you'll see how everything is very interconnected, your eating, your healthy habits, your balanced diet, and your emotional health, how they are interconnected. Next. Now, the second part of healthier habits that we will talk about is exercise. Exercise, one thing I want you to know is that when you are generally when you have just done an exercise, you generally feel an elevated mood. And why is this? It is because exercise releases a hormone known as endorphin. And endorphin is a natural painkiller. It naturally decreases stress, it will improve your mood, and it will ease depression and anxiety. Okay, so when you keep active, it will also reduce your risk of chronic disease. It will prevent you from getting depressed. And the chemically happier is the endorphin hormone. And it also increases your confidence and helps you to relax and sleep. And when you are exercising, you also lower your risk of type 2 diabetes by decreasing your insulin resistance. Next. Now, what is the effect of exercise on your brain? So it increases your energy levels, it boosts your mood, and as I already said, it lowers risk of depression, it promotes sleep, and very important for you students, it improves concentration. So you can see how much exercise is important. Next. Next thing that we want to talk about is sleep management. How many of you just see your screen before going to sleep? This has become a regular habit, right? So these are some tips that you can do just to have a proper sleep. You don't go to sleep on an empty stomach. No screen time at least 1 hour before sleeping. Reduce your caffeine intake. Keep your bedroom quiet and invest in a comfortable bedding and go to sleep at the same time every day. Try to. I know sometimes it's difficult, but try to maintain a daily rhythm, a daily routine. Next. Now, to promote better sleep, experts recommend avoiding screen time, means the phone, tablets, computers, for at least 1 hour. Why? Why did I tell you that? Because the blue light which is emitted from the screen, they can interfere with melatonin production, and it makes it harder to fall asleep. Okay, next. Now, I will talk about emotional wellness. Emotional wellness is being kind to yourself as you recognize and experience a wide range of emotion. Especially adolescents, you have so many feelings, you go through so many transitions, so many feelings that you have to come to terms with them. So what are the signs of emotional wellness? First is having the ability to talk with someone about your emotional concerns and share your feelings with others. It can be your parent, a teacher, or a close friend, but sharing is very important. Second, you should know how to say no. You can't be a people's pleaser because then you can end up with having too many things on your plate. You should know how to say no and without feeling guilty. And then feeling content most of the time. Be satisfied with what you have. Don't strive to get what others have without knowing what are the circumstances. And having a strong support system is also important. People in your life who care about you. Then being able to relax, it is very important. And feeling good about who you are. A good self esteem is primordial for emotional wellness. Next. Now I will talk about stress management. Nowadays, people are always running and rushing. They have to do so many things, they have so many deadlines, so many things to do, and you end up with stress. And stress management is very important so that you can go on because if you're stressed, you can go into stress disorders, anxiety disorders, which will decrease your productivity. So, how do you define stress? Stress is defined as a state of worry or mental tension which is caused by a difficult situation. But you should know that stress is a natural human response. Okay, it's not something that you can evade completely. It is a natural human response. You should know how to address the challenges and threats. Everyone experiences stress to some degree. The way we respond to stress is what makes the difference. Right? Next. Now, here are some tips for stress management, and I think this will help you in your innovation project. This is the areas where you can set your goals about. You can just, explore these tips so that you can do your projects. So, stress management is first thing you have to do time management. Manage your time. Find time for meditation, spending time with nature, nature trails, hiking, listening to music, reading books. Reading culture is on the decline actually. So try and see how you can increase the reading culture. Second, talking with friends. This is also on the decline actually, because when you see a bunch of friends sitting together, most of the time they are just on their mobile phone. Interaction is decreasing actually. Everyone is just glued on their phone. And exercise we already talked about. Now, other things that you can do to manage stress is to set reasonable expectations. Don't expect too much. Don't set goals that you cannot achieve. Get regular exercise, of course. Take time to relax. Sometimes you should pause. You're not supposed, you're not a robot. Okay? And if you have a certain problem, list the solutions. Sometimes when you're writing down a solution, it helps you. And third, what I just mentioned is opening up to people. Staying glued on your phone, which won't fetch you much, actually. You should have someone to confide to. Next. Now, last topic is substance abuse, and you already know what you have: tobacco, alcohol, and the illicit substances. And all these things in your age group, the most common cause is peer pressure. Envie essayer. You want to try things, try new things. But you should be very mindful about what you're trying, because substance abuse, all these alcohol, tobacco, and illicit substances, they have so many negative impact on your health. If you want to try new things, try reading a new book, try going on a new nature trail. Don't give in to peer pressure, because these what are so now you should know how you end up being addicted to these things. You take it once, essayer, then it becomes a habit, and now suddenly you find yourself that you are craving for those substances, and now you can't go back. And this addiction will lead to so many different scourges, because when you're craving for those drugs, now you'll have to find a way to get those drugs. And this in turn will lead you to commit crimes like stealing, selling things in your house, selling your parents' belonging just for one dose. Okay, so that's why emotional intelligence is important, because if you, as you can see on the slide, the addiction triggers. What triggers someone to go to seek solace in alcohol, smoking, or substance abuse is a trauma, peer pressure, no support system, a very weak mental health, or heartbreaks. Okay, so if you have a high self-esteem, if you have a support system, all this gives you a protection. Okay, you can deal with your problem instead of looking for an easy way just to forget everything. Okay, and the second picture shows how these substances make you a prisoner of themselves. Next. Now, what are the advantages of adopting healthier habits? Obviously, you have a better quality of life. You have lesser risk of developing chronic diseases like diabetes and hypertension. And you have better coping mechanism. Then, in turn, you will have less stress. As I told you, the effects of exercise and stress management on the brain will give you better coping mechanism, and at the end of the day it will increase productivity. You will become someone who is more, you can do so many things, because you are someone who can deal with your surroundings, and you have a balanced diet, you have a good self-esteem about yourself. Next. Now, about the implementation part of healthier habits. As you know, now the generation is different. My generation and your generation is not the same. Now there is a gaming attitude. Everyone wants to play game. Everyone has Candy Crush on their mobile phone. Everyone wants certain milestone. Everyone is collecting coins. So you have to zero in on this attitude because this will help you to implement things better. Like for your project, you can try to implement healthier habits in a fun way, in a way that will engage people. You can try to come up with certain new games which will involve people, for example. Okay. And secondly, you make it easy and accessible. Like for example, at home, you have certain works to do like cooking, cleaning, and everything. Why not make a checklist? Even at school, you have a library. You can have a checklist, and then every time you read a new book, you have someone stamp it on your checklist. And at the end of the day, when you have completed a certain number of work or a certain number of books, you have some kind of reward. Okay. And then third thing which you can incorporate in our community is medical wearables. Like for example, everyone has a smartwatch nowadays. So having a smartwatch, you can now everything is on their mobile phone. I think you can have community also when you are tracking down your number of steps. You can have a certain community that this number of people have reached like 1,000 steps. Now they are in another group, and then you put another milestone. Okay, so healthy habits with technology will be very fun nowadays. Okay, so you can see how you can come up with an app or something which will track. This is already existing, but you have to see how you will innovate it and make it better. I'm sure you will have better ideas than me. Next. So this is a picture showing how the watch works. You can have, it gives you an idea about your BP. If it even gives you an idea about your stress levels also. Nowadays, everything is technology. So you can see how you can incorporate medical wearables, fun, games in a way that makes it very easy and accessible to everyone. And everyone is they want to do whatever you are trying to propose for healthier habits. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okel. We'll be now proceeding with the next presentation. So maybe we should stop sharing the screen of Dr. Okel so that we can move on to the next one.